point of today's video was to talk about how I replaced this knife that I used for about 8 years, how I replaced it with something that I liked as much or better. Thanks for tuning in to the Barefoot Farm channel. We know you have a lot of choices when you go onto YouTube. We appreciate you picking our channel. Today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 spring assist knives that fall in the $40 or less category. This whole quest on finding the top 5 in this price range came about when my favorite knife broke. So this is the Coast RX 352 knife, and I don't know if you can see. It doesn't spring assist. It's a nice knife and it still flicks open, but it does not spring assist. And I bought this knife probably 8 years ago at one of the big box retail stores, and I used it almost daily around the farm here for doing all kinds of things. And I wasn't necessarily kind to it, but it really lasted a long time, held a great edge. And when the spring assist broke, I thought, well, it was only 20 bucks. I bought it on a whim because I'd never had a spring assisted knife. I bought it on a whim, and I'll just, next time I'm at the big box store, I'll just stop by the tool department and grab one. Easy peasy. Unfortunately, this big box store stopped carrying the Coast knives. They still carry the flashlights, which are great, and I'm going to be having another video coming up about one of the Coast flashlights. But at the store, they did not have the knives any longer. They carried their own cheap brand of knife, and we're going to take a look at that in the summary today as a comparison. But they did not any longer handle the Coast knife. So for those of you who are not familiar with a spring-assisted knife, this is not an automatic knife. In other words, it's not like a switchblade where you push a button and it opens up. This knife has an assist on the blade. So this knife I have in my hand, I've covered identifying marks on it because I don't want to spoil the surprise of which the winner is. Although I will say at this point that if you want to fast forward ahead, you can jump to this point in the video and see the final summary of the winners. If you'd like to receive a copy of the report that I put together, please drop your email address in the comments section. I'll be happy to get that right out to you. But the spring assist knife works with a flick of the thumb. Some work on a little nub that's here on the blade. Others work with a piece on the back of the pivot part of the blade here that flips it open. So the quick opening knife and handy to use with one hand. Most of these knives have some sort of locking mechanism in them to lock the blade shut so it doesn't come open in your pocket. And then others of them also have a clip mechanism on here. Most of them have a clip mechanism. And for me, one of the judging criteria in this video was whether the clip mechanism was reversible or not. I'm left-hand dominant, so I prefer to have the clip on this side, so when I put it in my pocket, it's easily accessible. So that was one of the critical judging criteria for me. So we're going to take a look at a comparison matrix that I put together for these knives, and let you be the decider on which one you would pick for yourselves. In transparency, I am not sponsored by any of the manufacturers that we highlight here. However, if you choose to purchase something through Amazon and you click on one of the links I provided in the video, I may get a commission on that. That's really not the point of today's video. The point of today's video was to talk about how I replaced this knife that I used for about 8 years, how I replaced it with something that I liked as much or better. So stay tuned. So on this matrix, we have we're going to have the top 5 spring-assisted knives in the $40 or less category. The judging criteria I had here are the brand, because some of that does carry some weight, where they were manufactured, price category, which includes the manufacturer suggested retail price, and also the best price that I could find. Of course, it's important to know the model of the knife that we're talking about. In addition to that, we want to talk about where the knife was made, what the warranty was. So that proved to be in my quest to find a replacement, that proved to be a significant factor. And whether the blade has a locking mechanism, and we want to know what the blade size and material is, and whether it has a pocket clip or not. So we also, if we could find a customer rating on Amazon or some other source, we posted that data. So the first knife we're looking at that I found on Amazon is the Master Cutlery brand knife, and this knife is made in China, and price point was less than $7. And as I started to look into it more, I decided that I did not even really want to talk in any depth about this knife. Reasons being that it's called Master USA. They have a couple different brands for this knife. Master USA, Master Cutlery brand. They're emblazoned with flags and other kinds of patriotic information, and they are made in China. Many of the knives in this price point category are made in China, but they don't wear the flag on their sleeve, and that's not the major selling point. So I refuse to really look at this because their story is very vague on their website, and I think they hope to fool people into the notion that they are a patriotic company. So I'm leaving that on the list as the last resort because it does fit in the category. So as I went on to look at the other spring assist knives, I realized that there were some knives that were almost in the category that were certainly worthy of a look. Okay, the first knife in the runner-up category, or the worth a mention, honorable mention category, is the Buck Model 239 Infusion. And the reason that this knife was not selected in the top 5 is that it falls out of the price point category. The Buck Company carries really an industry reputation that's almost second to none. They're very durable knives, very high quality knives. Um, Buck advertises this knife as an everyday carry knife, and I imagine that it would serve a person well to have this. Unfortunately, it does fall outside of my price point category, and there are a number of other knives in the category. Things that I liked about this knife are that the pocket clip is ambidextrous, meaning it can be shifted from one side to the other to accommodate both left and right-handed people. It does have a blade lock, and the knife is stainless steel. The warranty on this knife is a lifetime, same as the rest of the Buck line, even though this knife, this lower price point knife, is made in China. It took me a little bit of research to figure that out, but the Buck company does acknowledge that the knife is made in China, and I'm sure that's the only way that they can bring this knife to us at this price point. However, it does carry the Buck warranty and the Buck namesake. Moving on to the next knife in the honorable mention category, we're taking a look at the Victorinox Swiss Army knife. So for years I have carried a Swiss Army knife and have loved the multifunction features of that knife. This knife is a single blade knife. However, it does have the toothpick and tweezers that are traditional with Victorinox Swiss Army knives. This knife, oddly enough, is made in the United States, so not made in Switzerland, for the home for the Victorinox company. This knife is made in the United States. Price point on this is a little bit out of our target price range at $42. However, the real reason this got kicked out of the spring assist is that it is not a spring assisted knife. It is an easy open knife, and I think it may be a flick open knife, but it is not categorized as a spring assist knife. So love Swiss Army knives, and I bet that anyone who carried this knife would be pretty happy with it. However, it's not a spring assist, so it doesn't completely fall into our judging criteria, so we could not choose this in the top 5. Moving on to look at number 5. In number 5 of the top 5 category, we're looking at the Husky spring assist knife. So this knife is from a big box store. The price point is $12.97. When I went originally to get my replacement Coast knife, I found the Husky knife there on the peg hook, and I said, well, $13, how bad could it be? So I did pick one up, and was surprised of a couple of features of it. It does have easy smooth moving bushings in the blade that help the spring assist to flick open quickly. The knife unfortunately had a flimsy, sort of cheap feel to it. The scales on the grip are thin plastic. The metal appears to be thin on the sides. This is a knife that would be fine stuck away in a drawer or a glove box as an emergency knife. It wouldn't be something I would want to rely on as everyday carry knife. It was quite sharp when I took it out of the package. It would shave hair on my arm. It was quite sharp. So that's a big plus. Could be a contender as a backup knife, but probably not everyday carry. Moving on to look at number 4 in the top 5, Klein Tools. The Klein Tools electrician's knife. This came in at a $29.99 price point on Amazon. Klein Tools is a name, a manufacturer's name that is very prominent to me. Many of the tools in my electrician's toolbox are Klein Tools, and there's something I could rely on. This knife, priced at $29.99, seems reliable with the Klein tool reputation. This seems like probably would be a good knife and durable for everyday carry if they're made for electricians to use in the field. The warranty on this knife is 1 year, so not quite as strong as other ones. So I didn't note with the Husky knife that it does carry a lifetime warranty. So that's one of the reasons it helped make the top 5 here. For the Klein knife, one of the reasons it's in number 4 in the top 5 is because of that brand name that I've known to come and trust over the years. So spring assist does meet that criteria, under $40, just at the $30 price point range, and the Klein tool name. Moving up to number 3 in the category, Gerber. So Gerber is a well-recognized name in American cutlery. This Gerber knife price point comes in at $34.99. Gerber's home is in Portland, Oregon. Gerber's home is in Portland, Oregon. However, this knife is made in China. Gerber does have a wide variety of knives, many of which are made in the U.S., but well above this price point category. So much like some of the other ones, even though it's made in China, I'm relying on the Gerber name. Some of the other factors that made this knife appealing to me are that it has both an open and closed lock function to keep that blade in a safe position, either open or closed, and it also has that ambidextrous clip, so you can move it from one side of the knife to the other. Rating on Amazon was 4.3. Definitely worth a look. Moving up to look at the next knife in line at the number 2 slot, we have a Kershaw. So apparently there is a lot of cutlery manufacturers out in Oregon. I'm not sure why that happened. That may be the subject of another video. So we have Kershaw in Oregon. We have Gerber in Oregon. And there's going to be one other contender we're going to look at here in the top number 1 rating as being from Oregon. So Kershaw, this knife comes in at just under $35. The warranty on this is limited lifetime. It does have a open lock and a closed lock. It does not have a pocket clip. The Kershaw name was really important to me. Kershaw has 67 models of spring-assisted knives. Yes, you heard me right, 67 different models of spring-assisted knives. This is in the lower end, again being made offshore, like many of the knives in this category being made in China. But since it carries the Kershaw name and does have a limited lifetime warranty, I thought it deserved a good spot on this list. Now, looking at the number 1 spot on this list, it is the Coast RX 350. So I showed you at the onset of today's video my Coast RX 352, which was broken, and my quest to replace that. Initially, I was just ready to shell out 20 bucks and buy a new one, and that led me to doing research when the big box store didn't have one. So as I was researching, what I found out was that Coast does have a lifetime warranty. It says here warranty does not cover normal wear and tear nor damage resulting from misuse or neglect. Well, I didn't have any misuse or neglect on this knife. It was just normal wear and tear. One day I went to open it and the spring assist spring wasn't springing anymore. In fact, it was in two pieces. So, but I thought on a whim, let's call up the Coast Company and see if they stand behind their product. So I did, and they said, take a picture of the broken knife, send it in to us, and if you have the purchasing information, that would be good, but no receipt was required. So I took a photograph of the knife, I emailed it in to them, and in about 2 weeks, I had a replacement in hand. That spoke volumes to me. This knife is rated 4 out of 5 out of 32 respondents. That's from their factory website. The price point on this knife, MSRP, is about $35. However, it can be found for about $20 on Amazon, although you can't find it at a big box store. And I was just thrilled to have this knife back again. So it made the #1 spot on my search list. And the winner for me is the Coast RX 350 because of their warranty and because of their great customer service. I think I would be happy to have any of the 2, 3, or 4 price category, or either of the honorable mention knives as an everyday carry, but I'm quite happy with this Coast knife. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel